friends. Well, today I'm talking about an issue that a lot of people that live in vans and RVs are faced with. Now, this really depends on how health conscious you are. I try to be health conscious. Am I always successful? No. If I was really super duper health conscious, I would exercise on a regular basis, which I don't. And that's one of my main challenges, is trying to get motivated to do something I don't want to do. But that's not the topic of the discussion today. Today we're talking about drinking out of plastic. Now, if you live in an RV, there's those huge water containers, 40 gallons, 100 liters, whatever. They're huge. And are you really going to drink out of that? A lot of people don't. Some people do. My concern is twofold with those. Number one, it's kind of dirty water, because how can you properly clean that? Yes, they put bleach in. Yes, you can swish it around. I don't really want to be drinking bleach either. So I don't drink. Obviously, in my van, I don't have a container that big. But what I do have is 2 6-gallon containers, or 46 liters altogether. In the future, I plan to just add more of those. And the reason for that is because I can easily clean it. I can take it out of the van, put some bleach in if I want to go that way, or vinegar or whatever, swish it around a bunch of times, dump it out, rinse it like crazy, good to go. So that deals with the cleanliness part of it. But the other part is drinking out of plastic. Now, plastic is inert, and it will just probably pass through your body. But I don't know, if your water is just sitting in plastic all the time, and I mean, ever since I lived in a van, I've been drinking out of plastic for like coming up to 4 years in a few months. And I prefer to drink out of stainless steel or glass. Now, I don't really think glass is that feasible, because obviously it's way easier to break. Actually, one time I was at a thrift store and I saw one of those large water bottle, water coolers type glass containers. It was like the 19-liter one. And I almost bought it. But two things held me back. Number one, it was glass. I just imagined filling it out somewhere full of water, and the thing's going to weigh like 60 pounds or something, and then dropping it. Boosh. Number two is that I had a big, huge dead spider on the bottom, and you had this little tiny hole to try to clean out a dead spider, and I'm like, nope, not doing it. So, and then there's stainless steel. Now, stainless steel, I think of the Berkey water filtration system, and I may use that in the future, but to me that's mainly about filtering water, not containing water. It's not large enough to contain the amount of water that I want to contain at a time. My kind of goal is to hold as much water as possible, so I don't have to keep filling it up. If I can fill it up once a month, that's good. And so far, with the 46 liters I have, I am stretching it out to about 3 weeks or so. So if I double that, which I plan to in my next van, that's like, 92 liters, and I'm sure that'll do me fine for a month, no problem. But it's still plastic. So, what to do? I thought of using the Life straw, and I seriously looked into it. I did some research, and I found that it's probably not the best solution for me. The reason being is because the Life straw is kind of designed for going camping. And reminder, guys, I'm 100% city. I haven't camped. I can't remember the last time I went camping. Years and years. So the life straw is meant to, you know, you can get the little straw thing that's like this big, and you stick it in the creek or the lake, and you can literally suck the water right in, and drink it right out of there and not get beaver fever, contamination from animal feces or whatever is in the water. But having done further research, I found that those are not really meant for heavy metals like cadmium or mercury. They're mainly meant for waterborne bacteria, and I think they do a super good job at that. But from what I've read, they're not the ideal candidate. So what I decided to do is get the small version of the Berkey, and it looks like this. Now, this is not the small version of the Berkey because I'm a cheap son of a beach, and it was like $40 for the legitimate real deal. And then this one, and that's Canadian. This one was like, I think it was like 25. This is called the Woder, or Water, W-O-D-E-R, and it's supposed to clean the water as fresh as clean, purified water, spring water, etc., etc. And basically how it works is it just has this filter thing going in your water bottle. It's good for 1,000 liters, I think, or 1,000 gallons. I have to look at that up. I think it's 1,000 liters. So essentially, this is about, I think this is about 800 milliliters. So I could fill this like 1,200 times before the filter is going to be unusable. So this style of the Berkey water bottle is better than the Life Straw because it filters out all those bacteria, waterborne bacteria, but also heavy metals and various other pollutants you might find in your water. I'm not 1,000% sure that it can filter out plastic, but I assume that the answer is yes. Whatever harmful things are in plastic. BPA is obviously one you want to be careful of because the plastic bottles are made of BPA or have BPA in them. And there's a couple other things they say, oh, well, yeah, you got rid of the BPA bottle, but there's other chemical things in there as well that are maybe just as harmful as BPA. Now, I'm not a chemist, I'm not a scientist, so I don't know all these things, but I do think that try to do what's reasonable, and just don't throw up your hand and go, oh, I'm not going to do anything because it's way too confusing, there's way too many things. I try to do what's reasonable, and that's why I'm going to use this water bottle with a filter in it, and I'm going to take it out of my plastic container and put it in another plastic container that has a filter. I should also mention that in Vancouver, BC, where I live, our water is extremely clean and clear, and we have some of the best water in the world. Some say the best water in the world. So I have no problem drinking out of the tap where I am at all. It's a non-issue. And if it wasn't for the drinking out of plastic, I would never bother with a filter because my water here is very clean and clear and trustworthy. However, I'm not drinking out of the tap. I'm drinking out of plastic. So most of the time my water is in plastic. Someone out here wants to talk to you. They're your animal friends. They want to talk to you. They're really wanting to talk to you.
What is it, guys?
Be our friend. Play with us. Won't you play with us? Thanks for watching, and be well, my friends.